Tonight, I've come to this place where it all began to speak as plainly as I can to the nation.
All systems are go.
This is a rock.
How much do you want for it?
I want $900 trillion for it.
You have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis.
Hey yo, my best friend's rich check.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alternative Jargon episode 67. Welcome to episode 67. Hold on. Oh, no can to crack today. We have to settle for this. You know, I've been doing this podcast for 4 years, and I have slacked off more than I would have liked to. But it just so happens that episode 67 falls when a number is trending. You know, I kind of feel like I'm in 7th grade again. When was the last time a meme or anything was based on just a number? The last one I can remember is 9 plus 10, and we all know how that one goes. We know the ending of that. So I feel like, you know, I'm in 7th grade again. But we're here. We're doing it. I wanted to talk today about this whole 6-7 thing. I don't get it. I'm trying to get it. You know, I like to take pride in myself of sort of keeping up with the kids. I'm only 23, but there's so much dichotomy now between just me and someone who's a handful of years younger than me now. They move fast. You know, we as Gen Z growing up with the internet, we moved fast. These kids are moving at light speed. All right? And it's awesome. It's really good. It's really good. And I can't help but sort of correlate something between the current state of our youth, and I'm included in this, and autistic-like symptoms. I feel like everyone now has a bit in them. And I hate to say that because, you know, the whole thing about, oh, I like to like today I had a weird, crazy, whimsical thought. I guess I'm autistic. That's annoying. It's the same thing with people and like OCD. Like, dude, today, like, I took a shit and then I washed my hands after. Dude, like, I must have OCD or something. Like, it's so crazy. Like, the other day, I made a checklist of to-do at work. I think I might have a little bit of OCD and autism. I think that's just it. You know, that stuff is obviously annoying. But I think if you could take a poll of, you know, kids who grew up 50 years ago versus now, and you were able to place them on the spectrum, because autism is a spectrum. Literally, it's called the autism spectrum. I think people my age and younger would place significantly higher, statistically significantly higher than, say, boomers or Gen X or, you know, those people. I think we're just getting better at it. We are progressing in ways we never thought possible on the spectrum. I don't know if the autism spectrum as a term is even politically correct anymore. I didn't check on that one. But there's an NBA arena called the Spectrum Center. I mean, come on. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so I really, the topic of this episode is kind of autism. I had the whole 6-7 thing in my head. It's episode 67. I still don't even know what that means. Maybe that's a right-wing dog whistle? But we all know humans can't hear dog whistles. So I'm just going to run with it. And this type of lingo among the kids, I understand it. I grew up with useless things invading my mind and being funny. I grew up with YouTube poops. I grew up with MLG, with SpongeBob edited. I get it. it's on the same plane of existence as 6'7" and Skibbity Toilet. I saw a TikTok, this was a while ago, back when this was highly prevalent among the zeitgeist. It was about Skibbity Toilet, and it was like a picture of Tony Soprano like yelling, and it said like as his voice, like, I understand Skibbity Toilet as a concept. I grew up with YouTube poops. I understand. And that's true. That's so true. Because it's, like I said, it's on that same plane. So, with this being said, I almost forgot. Guys, I forgot a prop. I have a prop. Hold on. Look at this. Look at that. Tylenol. Store brand. That's the headline of the show. Folks, apparently Tylenol causes autism. And I have yet to ask my mother if she took it while she was pregnant or planning to be or nursing, or if she had an erection for more than 4 hours. I haven't asked yet, but apparently acetaminophen causes autism in the youth. Now, I saw a lot of people all over the Reddit sphere, which is, I don't really use Reddit, but you can tell when something is Reddit coded. A lot of women were popping Tylenol after RFK made this announcement to the world. So, you have, it's funny. It's kind of funny. It's also really stupid. But, where was I going with this? Yes. I think, autistic people, it's a spectrum, as we all know. And I saw a lot of people react to the Tylenol headlines by popping Tylenol while they're pregnant. So, and I also saw a lot of people, autism doesn't need a cure. Like one of those feminist posts on Instagram, stuff like that. Now that is incredibly dumb, because it'd be great if we could cure autism. With that being said, a lot of autistic people kick ass, okay? A lot of autistic people are awesome. So, while it is great that we discovered this side effect of Tylenol, maybe, I'm trying to find the middle ground here. I'm saying if you're a pregnant woman out there, don't take it all the time. I think pregnant women should be required to take like 1 or 2 Tylenols maybe a week. Keep it on the down low. I know pregnancy can be painful, stressful, filled with anxiety, and you need a painkiller. Switch to ibuprofen for 90% of those times if you're a pregnant woman or nursing or whatever. But take a few Tylenol, and I'll tell you why. Here's my justification for this. There is a spectrum in autism. Some autistic people are so bad, symptom-wise, that they're like nonverbal, and I mean this in the nicest way possible. Their case of autism is so bad, they are basically mentally retarded. I don't know if that's still a politically correct term either. So when you see these pregnant women, owning the GOP, I almost wanted to say owning the libs, but it's that, but on the other side, owning Trump, owning the orange man by popping Tylenol. It's just dumb, because autism can be incredibly, incredibly terrible. It can get to a point in some cases where it is literally a debilitating mental disorder where you can't live or function, and that is nothing to laugh about or mock. But the reason I say to use maybe in moderation if you're a pregnant woman, like I said, some of them are really cool. Autism, the worst cases are you can't really function. But the best cases, you're really, really into trains. You love locomotion. You love locomotion. You love locomotives. You watch the Polar Express not for the plot, not for the annoying kid, but to see that old steam engine, baby. That's right. So some of these people, if we didn't have autistic people, we wouldn't have a lot of things. We wouldn't have computers, probably. We wouldn't have the internet. So some of them are freaking sick. Some of them, though, like I said, there are other cases. There's like Josh Block. He's a very autistic kid who had a good start to his TikTok career, World of T-Shirts, and now he is a drunk on the road, wreaking havoc everywhere he goes. That's not great. And that's actually, it's kind of like a case study you can watch live, because I've seen other autistic people on TikTok, they'll duet his video and go, yeah, I remember as an autistic person, I had my first beer, and then it almost got a hold of me off the first sip because it made me just feel normal. So that's kind of a thing, I guess. Luckily, a lot of people were able to walk away from it before they got to his level, but now there's been a countdown timer for like 3 years about when he's going to die. Somehow he's still kicking in a pair of Jordan 4s all over the United States of America. He's been banned from most of Europe, unfortunately for him. But I heard that the ban might be lifted. So Block might be back on yours. But yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting thing, autism. And the name of this episode is Sick Savant, because, dudes, autism can produce people that can, like, play the piano without a lesson. They can sit down in front of Beethoven and just go to town. So that is really, really good. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. Maybe Beethoven himself was on the spectrum. He didn't even know how to hear. He never learned how to hear. I know hearing is it's not till like 5th grade, right? But, you know, I almost just said, like, no offense to deaf people, but hey, you aren't listening. You're not listening. Maybe you have really good lip reading skills, and in that case, deaf people, I will blur my mouth the whole episode. No, nothing against deaf people, even though they can't hear me. I'm not going to speak to you while you're down, okay? No, just kidding. But yeah, I mean, I'm sort of digressing, I suppose, but it is very interesting to me, because I feel like this 6-7 thing, it's stuff that you have to be pretty online. I guess not terribly online. If you're in a high school, I've seen posts online of, like, high school teachers, and they have a list of banned words on the whiteboard, and it's not cuss words. It's like bro, skibbity toilet, 6-7, low taper fade. It's all entirely meaningless, even though it's not. I think kids growing up have always had these types of inside jokes. Always. I apologize for that loud noise. I kicked the table. But kids have always had these things. When I was in elementary school, it was all about, like, they see me rolling, they hating. What was another one? Like, 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100. That was a classic. Let me think. What else? Maybe, you know, you get a double on the kickball field at recess. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? David. Obviously, I'm on second base. Shoot. I think when I was in 4th grade, our entire class actually invented a language where we used fill-in words for actual swear words or inappropriate words. And we had to have a sit-down with the principal who banned us from doing it. Our lines of communication were shut down. We had to use carrier pigeons after that. But my point is, kids have always had this thing. But now it's incredibly more autistic than it's ever been. Once again, not a bad thing. I'm just observing here. And it's just something I've noticed. And I just hope that all of these women who are pregnant and taking Tylenol to say Orange Man bad or whatever their message is, I hope that they come out not as dysfunctional people with a real disability, but I hope in like 18 years we have like 25 pianists and violinists. What happened to that, by the way? Where are all the kids that are like playing the violin when they're 12? Do I just not watch America's Got Talent anymore? But what happened to those people? When I was growing up, I was constantly seeing kids my age or maybe a little bit older, and it's like, this is Cedric Hoffenbauer from Germany, and he is 8 years old, and he can play the entire Fifth Symphony with two hands. There's a violin in one, a piano in the other, and he actually plays electric guitar on the side for fun. What happened to those kids? Maybe it's probably just that I don't watch America's Got Talent anymore. Who's on that show now, by the way? I think Simon Cowell. Definitely not Howard Stern. All right. I don't think he's there anymore. But yeah, maybe I just don't watch enough network TV. Are there like cello players still in the womb on like Abbott Elementary? Is that just is it going over my head? I'm not sure. Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? That was another one. Another really big one. Yeah, I guess maybe since I'm a little bit grown up now, that I'm just not in touch with that side of the media at this point. So, a minute ago, I was going to say, I hope that the women taking Tylenol, their offspring turns into like 20 Ben Shapiros. In terms of his violin playing, by the way, if you didn't know, not into his political beliefs about Israel. But, yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. So this might end up being the shortest podcast episode I've ever made, but it's better than nothing, and I just wanted to make one. And if you're watching this and you have autism, let me know if I said anything bad. I don't think I did. I think I respected the autism. It's just an observation. But anyway, yeah, that might wrap it up. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you in 68. Goodbye.